All right, so if you're thinking about moving to Friendswood, Texas, there's definitely some things that you need to know. So in this video, we're gonna go over the good, the bad, and the hideous side of living in Friendswood, Texas. No BS, no fluff. Let's dive straight into it. And we're gonna kick things off on the brighter side of things. And we're gonna talk about the pros first, then we'll transition into the cons. And pro number one is gonna be all about safety. Now, Friendswood, Texas is one of the safest, if not the safest suburb in all of the greater Houston area. Let me tell you this, Friendswood PD does not F around. It doesn't matter where you are. If you commit a crime in Friendswood, Texas, they have a department or a task force that will literally chase you to the ends of the earth and bring your behind back down here to Friendswood to prosecute you. And that task force has pretty much built a stigma around Friendswood, Texas, to where criminals know not to F around here in Friendswood. And that stigma has created one of the safest communities or safest suburbs in the entire Houston region. So if you're looking for safety, Friendswood should be at the very top of your list. Coming in at pro number two is going to be all about the lower property taxes here compared to its neighboring counterparts like League City, for example. Now, Friendswood, Texas has some lower property taxes, most neighborhoods being around the 2%. Now, there are some newer developments that are going to be a little bit higher, maybe like 2.4, 2.5, but it beats the heck out of paying a 3.6 or a 3.7 tax rate. So keep that in mind whenever you are house shopping. The lower the tax rate, the better off you will be, and the lower the payments that you will have if you are financing. And coming in at pro number three is going to be all about the location. Now, Friendswood, Texas is in proximity to literally everything around the southern part of Houston. And I mean, everything is close by. You want to go to the Bay, it's just down the street off of NASA Road 1 or 528 on this side of Friendswood. You want to go to Webster, where pretty much that's commercial heaven, like Top Golf, you have the Great Wolf Lodge, Water Park. I mean, it's all right here within like a 5-minute drive. So you don't have to drive 30 minutes down the road to go anywhere. Everything is right here. And coming in at pro number four is going to be about how Friendswood is a highly desirable area. Now, there are several factors into being why this place is so highly desirable, safety being one of the number one priorities for a lot of folks that move here in Friendswood. And school districts are also another one, which we'll cover next here in just a second. But if you want to move into an area where your investment can pretty much be secure for the future, meaning that your equity will almost certainly grow from the moment that you purchase a home because of how highly desirable Friendswood, Texas actually is, this neighborhood should, or this community should be on the top of your list to consider. And finally, the fifth pro on my list is going to be all about the school district here in Friendswood. Now, Friendswood ISD is consistently ranked at the very top of the list in the entire Houston region. Sometimes it bounces between number 2 or number 3 as the top districts in Houston, which there's 51 total districts here, by the way, guys. It's a ton of school districts here. So being that Friendswood ranks number 2 or number 3, it just kind of bounces back and forth depending on whenever you look at it. I think it's safe to say that your children are going to get a top of the line education that they ever so deserve. All right, before we transfer over to our cons, if you are considering making a move to Friendswood, Texas, make sure you reach out to me. You can even scan the QR code to schedule an appointment at your convenience, at your time of choosing, or I'll leave all my information in the description box down below, and we'd be happy to help you make a smooth transition here to Friendswood, Texas, or anywhere inside the greater Houston area. Okay guys, let's talk about the hideous side of Friendswood. Coming in at con number one is going to be all about the limited new construction opportunities here in the area. Now, there are a few, there are like a handful of developments that you can still buy new construction, like Sterling Creek or Avalon, but Sterling Creek is pretty much closing out, and Avalon isn't going to last long because of how highly desirable Friendswood, Texas actually is. So if you want a new construction home, you have to jump on that quick. If not, then you're just gonna have to go somewhere else. I will say though, if you are in a luxury market, there is a builder here in Friendswood that is buying up older homes, knocking them down, and building some absolutely gorgeous homes, but it's gonna cost you. Moving on to con number two, and that's going to be all about how Friendswood, Texas is going to be split into essentially 2 separate counties. We have Galveston County and we have Harris County. And why did that land on my con list? Well, because it makes a difference on what county you decide to live in, whether Harris or Galveston. It's going to make a difference on 2 things: the school districts that you are zoned to, and whether or not you're going to have a higher insurance premium for a windstorm. Now, if your home in Friendswood is located in Harris County, you will not be zoned to what's called Friendswood ISD. You will be zoned to what's called CC ISD or Clear Creek ISD. Now, Clear Creek ISD is actually one of the top ranked school districts in the entire Houston region as well, coming in at number 5 out of 51. So it's still safe to say your children are going to get a good education regardless if they go to Friendswood or if they go to Clear Creek ISD. And if you live on the Harris County side, your windstorm insurance premiums are going to be much cheaper than you would if you were in a coastal county, which is Galveston County. If you're in Galveston County, in the eyes of an insurance carrier, that is considered what's called a coastal county. So your insurance premiums for windstorm insurance are going to be much higher. All right, moving on to con number 3, and this is going to be all about the flooding in certain areas of Friendswood. Now, Friendswood, Texas does have certain areas that are a little bit more prone to flooding than others, maybe more specifically some of the older communities. However, I will say that Friendswood has done a tremendous job at mitigating a lot of the flood risk or flood hazards that could pose a threat to the community. Since 2017, we haven't had any major flood events since Hurricane Harvey, so that's great news. However, if you are still concerned about whether or not the area of your choosing inside Friendswood or the neighborhood that you want to move to might be located in a flood zone, that's something we can definitely help you out with, so make sure you give us a call and we'll be able to guide you in the right direction. And finally, coming in at con number 4 is going to be all about the limited amenities or things to do in Friendswood, Texas itself. Now, Friendswood, Texas is a tiny little landlocked community or suburb that really doesn't have a lot of things to do. It's a really small little town, so we're kind of landlocked. There's nothing really to do here. Now, we do have some amazing perks. Like, I'm at Baybrook Mall right now. Tons of great shopping and great food here. Like, we got the Rapport Maggiano's, we got Paris Steakhouse. We have all kinds of stuff here. The movie theater's right in front of me, tons of shopping on the inside. There's a lot to do at Baybrook Mall, lots of stuff to eat. And then inside on 518 towards downtown Friendswood, there's tons of eateries that you can go to. But as far as like really cool things to do, there's really not a whole lot here. You're gonna have to go to Webster. Webster's, like I said earlier, is like that commercial heaven, so to speak. So you're gonna have Great Wolf Lodge Water Park, you're gonna have Top Golf, you're gonna have Little Woodrow's, you're gonna have all kinds of stuff to do over there. But the great part about it though is that Friendswood is literally just like across the street from all of that. So it's still like a 5-minute drive. So I wouldn't necessarily put this as a con, but if you were looking for something to do specifically in the area that you live or the city that you live, there's really not a whole lot to do here. All right, guys, well, that's gonna wrap up our pros and cons video of living in Friendswood, Texas. Now, Friendswood, Texas is my all-time favorite suburb in the entire greater Houston region, more specifically because of how close it is to everything and how safe it actually is for my children to grow up in. So if safety is a #1 priority for you and school districts are #1 priority for you, you hands down cannot beat Friendswood, Texas. And if you plan on moving to Friendswood, Texas, make sure you give us a call. Again, I'll leave all my information in the description box down below. And if you're watching this on your TV, which according to my analytics, over 60% of you do, you can scan that QR code and you can schedule a call at your own time, at your own convenience, either a Zoom call or a phone call. And myself or a member of my team would be delighted to help make your transition to Houston or Friendswood a smooth one. Signing off for now. See you guys next time.